3, 2, 1, go. All right, we can all see what I'm looking at, right? Somebody, yeah, thumb, something like that. Awesome, thank you. So I can come through here and look at what problems we've had issues with on that activity. And not everyone has worked on this activity yet, but what I see is that a lot of us that did this had some issues the first time around. So what I've done, and what I might suggest that you guys do, is create your own number line that you can use over and over again. So I put a piece of tape, because we have lots of tape around the school right now. I put a piece of tape on my dry erase board, and I'm going to try to bring my camera up a little bit. And this is going to be my number line that I can work on and use dry erase markers to draw things out. So the problem that we have right now, I'm going to write on our whiteboard, and I would like you to like go with me and write these things on your notes. So I'm not actually right now going to do an everybody hold up your notes paper. Because if you choose to slack off and do nothing right now, that's your bad decision that you'll have to live with. So I'm going to today just make this, whatever you decide to do. No one has sent me any questions in the chat so far, and I should probably check my email on a different screen, because if you have a question that you would like to email me, you may. You can do that right now. I can't guarantee that I will get to it today, but if you have a question that you'd like me to answer, please send that to me. All right, so 6, how I would write these in your notes is where that blank box is, I would just make a line like of an unknown line. And then we could actually replace it with a variable. So I'm going to pop my screen up. So what we have is 6 is our answer. 6 is where we land because it's the number by itself at the equals. So I'm going to put a mark right here at my 6.
What are we going to title this note?
Work with number lines if you want. Yeah, sorry, I should have. This is going to be tough because I want to work on the dry erase, but yeah, you guys are probably working on paper. If you just want to call this work with number lines. And actually, hey guys, take a moment, make a number line on your paper. Go ahead. It doesn't have to have all the numbers marked out, but notice that mine, I marked the 5s pretty obviously, and then my like 1, 2, 3, 4 are small, but they're down here. I can see them. I don't know if you guys can see them. I need to get another lamp. So this is where I was saying we're going to talk a little bit about disc golf. Disc golf and regular golf, but I'm bad at regular golf. You keep score based off of par. If you're doing well, your score will be negative. You'll be below par. If you're doing not so well, your score will be above par and it will be a positive value. So if we have 6 as our end value, and if you want to make a note, this is our end, right? So final or end. End is just quicker to write. We start at something we don't know. We can call that x if we want, because if you guys haven't seen the use of x, we often use x in math to represent something we don't know. And this minus -8, I think this is where most of us got confused. Because like I think 5 of us missed this problem. Can anyone unmute and tell me what to do with this minus a negative to make that easier? Kiki, what do you got?
Wouldn't it be a plus? Like,
yeah, these should actually join up together and make it +8. Because remember, we said taking away a bad guy is the same as adding a good guy. Do I need to re-explain why minus a negative becomes plus a positive? It is like taking away debt. Sonny, I don't exactly understand what you sent me. I'm a little confused. I can't just do participant count for attendance if that's what you're talking about, because kids could be in the wrong class. That's what we're always scared of, is that kids are in the wrong class. So if I take away debt, in order to take away debt, I use positive money to do that. So something plus a shift of 8 got us to 6. So again, 6 is my end result. If I shifted by a plus 8, that is moving right. But guys, here's what I think a lot of us did. You went right from this location. That is not where we start. We start somewhere that we don't know. So we start down here somewhere and then shift right 8, because plus 8 tells us go to the right 8. Is anyone confused about plus 8 meaning go to the right 8? Now, I think a lot of us were confused about not starting here and going to the right from there. Like, I think a lot of us went out and we got 14 as the answer. But we're starting somewhere down here that we don't know. It's like a question mark, right? It's our x. But if we know that this was a distance of 8, we can find that... Sorry, Clark, go ahead. I don't always see you guys because I'm looking back and forth.
Never mind.
You sure? I always want to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah, it's just, well, I was about to say that we get it, but now I get it.
All right, sweet. Let me know if you have another question. Was there another hand? The other suggestion that I made to one of your classmates that I should write down before I forget to is turn the problem around. If it confuses you that the answer is on the left-hand side, I'm going to switch from my dry erase board so I actually have some notes written down today. So number line. I like rhymes. Number line time. So we were given 6 equals x minus negative 8. We said really that means x plus 8 because the minus the negative. And now what I'm actually going to do is say this equals 6 is perfectly fine to come over to the other side. And now I can ignore this part. So really what we can say is some number plus 8 will end up at 6. Well, like we said with our number line, if we knew that we came up 8 to get here, why don't we just go down 8 to figure out where we started? And that will land us, when we count our way down there, at negative 2. How we write that in the algebra, which if you ask your parents or any older siblings to help you, what we're trying to do is isolate the variable. Now, I kind of hate that word right now because a lot of us have been mildly isolated, like we haven't seen our friends or some of our family. But we need to put this variable, we need to isolate it. We need to make it by itself. Right now, it has a plus 8 with it. So what we actually did, and if this confuses you, you're allowed to stop listening. But what we actually did was we took 8 away. We went to our end point. We took 8 away from it to say if we hadn't added 8, if we never added 8, what would that original number have been? So how we could write that is using what we call algebra, and we show that we can subtract 8 over here, we can subtract 8 over here. 8 minus 8 is 0, so now x just ends up by itself. And 6 minus 8, well, this is kind of like 6 plus a negative 8, right? Which we talked about good guys and bad guys. The bad guy is going to win here and be negative 2. So we can use the number line like we did, or we can use algebra like we just showed there. I'd love it if you would copy down the algebra. Even if you don't understand it yet, it is where we are working towards this year. We're hoping to understand that later this year. You don't have to understand it yet. just an intro to it. Let's do another one of these. I don't even want to ask yet about like who's confused, because I bet a lot of us are still confused. So let's find another problem. Another one that a lot of us missed. 3 minus something equals 11. So go ahead and write down. I know you can't see my board right now, but 3 minus some unknown equals 11. I need a tissue to wipe this off. So to show this,
You have a problem bad.
I know I can't get rid of it until the X pops up. Thank you for letting me know, but yeah, it's got a time delay. It makes me look at it for a certain amount of time. Although no matter how much time I look at it, I'm not buying what they're selling. What this tells me is we start at 3, some change happens, and we end up at 11. Clark, what's up?
Sorry, my mic was off. I was going to say the answer.
So I always want the process before we get to the answer. So the problem with just giving the answer is anyone who doesn't know the process, the answer doesn't help. Right? So if I tell you, just install the toilet, that's not very specific of how do you install the toilet. Right? And if you miss a step in installing a toilet, what you cause is a waterfall downstairs. A not nice waterfall. So we want to talk about the process here. Sunny, question?
Actually, this is about in the beginning. You said kid Steven was missing. Also, this is important. My mom called me. She tried to FaceTime me and then said I'm missing class. So I believe that's me. My real name is Steven, not Sunny. I go by Sunny.
So
I did not
you
think
hear
it
me
would end up like
at the
that.
beginning of class when I kept saying, so is Steven here? Do we have Steven?
I thought you meant somebody else.
No. So if
But
your
my mom-
real name is not the name showing up, like that's the issue with you having changed your name in the Zoom, and that's not on my spreadsheet. So I need to go put that in my spreadsheet. So I will do that right now, but I don't have your other name in my spreadsheet, dude. So I will get with the office and tell them that you're actually here, but come on, man, help me out. It's very hard for us to keep track of everything, of who's here, who's not. It's a Zoom with a bunch of tiny screens on it. So now I'm going to type your name in here is Sunny. Here's evidence that I just did it. Boom. And now you're here. So I will email the office when we get done with class. Hopefully you were able to just tell your mom, I'm in class. It was probably just a goof.
And I did.
So here's my big question, guys. Can I start here, subtract, right, like go left, and end up at 11? I think this is why this problem was so hard. Can I go left and end up over here, like over there? Somebody jump in and tell me what you think I need to do. Like raise your hand or just Clark, you're the first to unmute. Hey, Clark, we've already talked a bunch today. Can I let Sophia go?
Okay.
Thank you, bud. Sophia, what do you got for us? Clark, we'll loop back if we need.
You'd have to use a negative, so then the minus becomes a plus.
Yeah, what we think in our head then is, no, we can't go left. We need to go right. And to do that, we need a plus. So what Sophia is telling us is we need to use a negative number up here. Sorry, that parenthesis came out weird. So since I need to add, let's go ahead and figure out what we need to add, and then we can figure out how to put it in the form like they want. What do I add, anybody? What do I add with 3 to get to 11?
8.
8. So to get up here, we add 8. So really, minus the negative 8 would turn into plus 8. So our answer here must be negative 8. So I'm not going to show who it was, but of the kids that tried this problem, only one of you actually got it, so very good work if it was you. You probably know that it was you. And guys, this is also why I ask that you try to get the homework done before you come to class. I'm using our mistakes to determine what we go over. So let's try one more kind of like this. And I'm going to write this on my notes real quick. So go ahead and look at this problem. Only like 8 of you saw it. -5. So guys, the first thing I would do with this problem, and it's not the first thing you have to do, but the first thing I would do, Clark, do you have a guess on my first step?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a guess, but if you wanted 5 to equal -10, if you wanted -5 to equal -10, and you wanted to do addition, you probably want to add a negative.
All right, be real careful there. So let's talk this through, right? Let's talk about process. So first thing we want to do is put the answer at the end, right? The answer is the number by itself. So I don't like how this is set up. We should move the answer to the end of the problem, and then we don't have to pay attention to that part anymore. So we could just write it like -10 plus something equals -5. This now tells me start is -10, change is this who knows what, and then end is -5. So we can mark those things on our number line. So if we, where did we say the start is? Start is at -10. So start.
So that means that you don't add a negative.
Yeah, if we start at -10 and end at -5, this is why I'm saying draw a number line and work on the number line. What do we need to do to go from 10 to -5? Let's go somebody who hasn't talked yet today. Can I get any volunteers? Layla, what do we do?
You have to add +5.
Yeah, we need to add 5. So go back to the problem that they gave us and figure out, well, okay, they have addition set up. We can just plug in 5 right there because they already had addition set up for us. We can double check it if we rewrite it down here. -10 plus a 5 equals -5. That checks out because bad guy 10, good guy 5. Bad guy would win by 5. And we can also check that by looking at the number line. Questions still on this problem? All right, let's do one more at least because I still got time, and then I will hang out and take requests if people want to continue doing that. The next best question to go over that still caught a bunch of us. -8 minus something. I am dropping a million markers. Guys, if all my clothes aren't covered in Sharpie by the end of this, I'll be impressed.
Can we color you impressed?
Can you what?
I said, can we color you impressed?
Huh. What I'm meaning is when I drop my pens and stuff, they keep just like landing on my clothes, and these are nice shorts that I'm wearing.
Do
My wife's
you
gonna be
not
mad.
have the caps on the markers?
Not when I'm trying to work really fast. I'm trying to get you guys out of here soon.
Put the caps on the markers when you finish using them, and then uncat them.
Look, that's
Simple
easier to say
physics
than to
science
do.
thingamajig.
Easier
No.
to say than to
You
do.
want to go.
All right, so on our number line, right, we're starting at -8. So I'm going to mark that. -8 is right here. Start. We have some change, and then we end at +2. Remember, we want the number that is by itself to be our end point. It's our result. So now, to get from our start point to our end point, what direction do we need to travel? To the right, right? If we start at -8 and we end at +2, well, guys, here's the most important thing I wanted to cover. Stop at 0. If you need to, right? If you don't have to, that's fine. But if I stop at 0, how far is it from 0 to get to -8? Or +8, doesn't matter which 8 it is, it's 8, right? It's a distance of 8. How far is it to get from 0 to 2? It's a distance of 2. And to start here and end here, we move to the right. So how far do we move to the right? If we put 8 and 2 together, we get 10. Absolutely. Thank you for those of you showing fingers and hands and things like that. So we now know oh, wait. We just said we want to add 10. How can we add 10 when the problem wants us to subtract? Can I get another new volunteer, maybe? Someone else who hasn't talked? Sophie Palmer, what do we do here?
You put the 10 in, you make it -10 in parentheses.
Yeah, we put the -10 in parentheses because that's really going to become -8 plus 10. But the answer that we'll write in Khan Academy is that -10. Because if we minus -10, it takes us to the right 10. Whew. All right, that was a lot of math review. So if you came in late or somehow didn't get to read the message on Schoology yet, we did that today as kind of like a slow it down a little bit to make your life a bit easier at the end of week 2. You guys were a day ahead of the other class because you had class twice this week and the other group only had class once on Wednesday. So the reason we did this, and I'm recording this screen down at the bottom that you guys can see, the reason we did this is to take a moment to talk about Khan Academy and also encourage you guys to send me questions, right? So please email me more questions about problems that are stumping you. Don't feel like you have to get through them on your own. I'm going to do this again tomorrow during AO. So if you would like to come get math help during AO tomorrow, I'm telling you right now, I don't have plans. At 9 a.m., I will be doing this for whatever math problems people have sent me. Okay? Does that make sense? That if you send me questions, I don't even need you to be here, but tomorrow morning I will solve them and I will record it and I will probably post it on our Schoology or whatever. Any last questions before we all get out of here? I did shift a couple due dates to tomorrow, I think. And as I announced at the beginning of class, I will start making all of our due dates together on Fridays. So if you are behind when it comes to Fridays, that's your day to try to catch up because we have some AO time built in there. And then while we go to staff meeting, you guys can work on work. So, all right, Math 7 people, sayonara. Have a great day. Get out of here. I have Math 8 people already in the waiting room. So you're all wonderful, lovely young beings surviving a crazy time in
Did you
education.
just call us beans?
Yep, lovely young beings. You are human beings.
Oh, I thought you said beans.
Oh, not beans. Like little kidney beans or little... No, not beans.